me see if my audio up to par. Your week has been okay, right? So you guys can hear me loud and clear now. Okay, so just in the chats, let me know how your week has been so far. How has your week been so far? Okay, I see Benny is here on call. So Benny, can you give me a 1 or a 0? We'll just say one word to describe how your week has been. Just one word to describe how your week has been. Okay, right. So okay. So in today's session, we are going to be looking at practical application of Python as a data scientist, right? Data engineer or a cybersecurity analyst, right? So today we are going to be addressing how we can use Python, with proper applications, or proper applications of Python, as a data scientist, data engineer, cybersecurity analyst, right? So most of you on this call, you have interest coming into this call. You have interest in data science, data engineering, or cybersecurity. And one thing I'll let you know is if you have not done your research yet, or you're about to do your research, or you have done your research, one thing you will come across is the programming language called Python. Right? That's something you are bound to come across, the programming language called Python. Okay, so Python is really, really, really prevalent in each and every one of these fields, right? Python is prevalent in each and every one of these fields, right? The question here is this, what do data scientists, what do data engineers, and what do cybersecurity analysts use Python for? That seems to be the major question, right? What do they use on Python for? Now, it goes like this. Irregardless of the field you find yourself interested in, Python plays an important role. Python plays an important role, right? Maybe you're a data scientist, you are going to work with data. Maybe you're a data engineer, you're going to automate the flow of data. Or maybe you want to verify, you want to secure, somewhere one of the components in your company's tech ecosystem. Python is going to be the relevant language you use in communicating, right, to components within that system. The challenge here was this, right? When we're talking about how do we go about, addressing people for the first time that are interested in any of this program, how do we go about working out practical hands-on situations that involved data scientists, data engineers, and data analysts. And data scientists, data engineers, and cybersecurity analysts. How do we go about working practical solutions? Do we take them one at a time? That means that, do we have a session for just data science, just data engineers, and just cybersecurity analysts? Do we have that, right? It turns out that there are middle grounds, right? Because of how fundamental Python is, we can have a session that acts like a middle ground, right, between all these field. And that's what we are here for today, right? That's what we are here for today. But before I go further, let's talk about analytics. Let's talk about analytics, right? So, Analytics is an edtech company helping Africans and people of the Black community, pivot into the tech ecosystem. So, the Africans everywhere. There are Africans everywhere. But what you come to realize is this. There are not as much Africans as we want in the tech ecosystem. There are not as much Africans as we would want in the tech ecosystem. So the idea was born, the vision was born, the vision was created, right, 4 years ago, right? What was this vision? How do we come up with, ways to lower the entry barrier into tech for people of the Black communities and Africans, both in the continent and in diaspora? The result was, the organization Analytics, providing services that involves building capacity of Black people in data analytics, business analysis, data engineering, data science, amongst others. And now this entire data ecosystem has evolved, to enable you on this call, right? To enable you on this call achieve that set goal and that career goal that you have, right? We have facilitators across the board. Top professionals from diverse sectors, right? And they are, here alongside with the course that have been structured in a way to make it practical and ensure you get optimal value. Right. Okay. So for today's session, you are going to meet me, and you are going to meet my amiable CEO Chukwemeka. Right. So my name is Ibrahim. Yes, you are right. My name is Ibrahim, and I am a senior data associate at Analytics. Right. I've had 5 years of industry experience in data science, working in various sectors, FMCGs, music, consulting, and even working in advanced research. Now, the extent of my work in these industries spanned data analysis and machine learning. And, Chukwemeka on the other hand, is one of the industry giants, right, in leading organizations, right, acting in the capacity of a data analyst, then moving on to data protection and financial modeling and, being a valuation analyst, right? So these are the two facilitators that, you are going to be, talking to today, as we move alongside this session. Okay, so what are we going to do today? What are we going to do today? What are we going to do today? So the first thing we are going to do today, everybody, the first thing we are going to do today is we are going to write responsive Python codes. We are going to write responsive Python codes, right? Once we get that part done, we are going to see a hands-on approach to how a data scientist, a data engineer, a cybersecurity analyst, how they can build or how they can create building blocks using Python. The next thing that happens is this. By this point in time, you'll be interested because, what would have happened would have been a proper breakdown of a programming language that once seemed mythical to most of us here on this call. Once this proper breakdown has been accomplished, we are now going to show you, the full picture, the big picture, right? We are going to tell you that Python was just step one. We are going to highlight the remaining steps in the pathway to becoming a data engineer, data scientist, or a cybersecurity analyst. Not only highlighting the pathway to becoming that professional, but also securing a job. At this juncture, you would have, a big picture understanding of what it entails, right, to get to your desired, career position. Then we are going to, review remote full-time and tech relocation opportunities. Then we're going to talk about the Analytics Growth Internship Program, right? A way to bootstrap and consolidate everything you have learned along your pathway. And finally, we are going to take things off with a special offer to you. Along the way, we are also going to be, showcasing people that started out like you, that joined the masterclass like this, and then went on to, program, and now they are in positions of their own. We are going to, show evidence like it is said. Right. So let's get started. Today's session, we are going to be writing, Python code, obviously. We are going to be writing Python code, obviously, responsive code, not just anyhow code, responsive code, right? And we are going to be using Google Colab. So a chunk of, or a time chunk of what I'm going to be doing today is explaining to you, or introducing to you Google Colab, right? Once that is done, we are going to move on to the Python programming language. Then we're going to have a bit of practicals where we look at comments, variable assignments, conditional statements, and we're going to have like a mini project for the cybersecurity analyst in the house. We're going to have like a mini project, right, called password verification. But here's the fun fact: this project also can be used, by individuals in data science and individuals in data engineering. So here is the takeaway from the practical session. Whether you are coming in as a data scientist or a data engineer or a cybersecurity analyst, you are going to have take-home knowledge with you, right? Either you are learning how Python can be used to handle data, or you are going to be learning how Python can be used to verify, and authenticate users, right? Let's get started. With today's session. Okay, so just a quick rallying around. Can I get a 1 in the chat if you are good to go? Can I get a 1 in the chat if you are good to go, right? So can I get a 1 in the chat if you are good to go? So Abiola, Benny, Dav, Fino, Ifeoluwa, Milis, Paul, Can I get a 1 in the chat if you are good to go? Right. I need my 1s in the chat if you are good to go. If you're not good to go, can I get a 0? If you're not good to go, can I get a 0? But I need my 1s in the chat before we kickstart today's session. Right. I need my 1s in the chat. Okay, Paul and the gang has given me a 1. So bring your 1s in so I know those that I will really, really, really have a connection with today as we explore Python for the first time. Right. So thank you, Paul. Okay. So with that being said, let's kickstart today's journey. Right. So the first place we are going to go to is Google Colab. The first place we are going to start today's journey in is where? Google Colab or Google Collaboratory. Right. Google Collaboratory. So essentially, what I would want from you is to go to your browser. But before you go to your browser, let's talk about Google Colab. Then you will go to our browser and start, accessing the particular platform. Right. So what is Google Colab? What is Google Colab? Right. Before we go to our browser, let's talk about Google Collaboratory. Right. So we know that today's class or today's master class is on what? Working with Python. That's what we know so far. That today's master class is on what? Working with Python from either the perspective of a data scientist, BS, data engineer, DE, or a cybersecurity analyst, right? Okay, so when you hear me say DS, DE, I think by now we should start having this lingo over what they mean, right? So all we know so far is we're coming in here to observe, or we are coming in here to get a first-hand experience on writing Python codes. But how do you write Python codes? So let me ask everyone on this call today. If you wanted to write a normal PDF or a normal document, what is the tool you use? If you want to write a normal Word document, what is the tool you use, right? Or better say, if you wanted to write, create a spreadsheet, what is the tool you use? Or you want to create a slideshow like one I have right here, what is your favorite tool to use, right? Can I get, people in the chat just tell me what their favorite tool is to use, right? Whenever they want to, either draft, a PDF or Word document, create slides or, use spreadsheets. What is that one tool, that is a go-to for you, right? So on the chat here, Ifeoluwa says she's a Microsoft fan. So Ifeoluwa, do you have aversions towards using Google Docs, or you just prefer Microsoft, generally, right? So Ifeoluwa says, the experience in Microsoft Word makes it better for her to use it in drafting Word. I think the PowerPoint also and the spreadsheets, right? So that's Ifeoluwa telling us what our favorite tool to use in writing or creating documents are, right? Okay, now here's the thing. Sorry about that. Sorry about this. Now here's the thing. In similar fashion, as Ifeoluwa has a preference to what she would use in creating this document, right? So there are tools, right? So there are tools in writing Python codes. Whenever you want to write Python codes, you want to create what they call Python scripts. I'll put it like this to you. A document is to MS Word as Python codes is to what? Python scripts. Whenever I want to write Python scripts, create Python files, write Python codes, you need what they call an IDE. In the same manner, MS Word is a dedicated editor for creating Word documents, and Microsoft Excel is a dedicated editor for creating spreadsheets. In that same manner, Google Colab is a dedicated environment for creating, Python code. Now, I'm using the word environment instead of editor. Why is that so? And it's so because, when you describe Google Colab, you don't say you are working with just an editor. You say you are working with an integrated development environment. Now, I know most of us are saying, oh, this is the reason why I was skeptical in coming to this Python session. I know most of us are already saying, look at, we are just, how many minutes into this session and I'm hearing integrated development environments, right? Before you feel discouraged, let me break it down for you to simplest things, right? So let's take a look at those 3 words, right? So you want to write Python codes essentially. you want to write Python code. It is called developing. It is called developing programs. Developing programs. Therefore, the word development. The purpose of Google Colab is for developing, programs or softwares, right? Or creating and writing and testing code, right? That is why there's a development in the middle of those two words. It is called integrated because Google Colab is not only used for writing up codes, right? It's not only for writing up codes. There are other variety of functionalities, some of which I will show you on this call, right? That are integrated into the platform, into the environment, right? So it is an environment because it's a complete workspace given to you by Google to write Python codes. That is an environment. This environment has several components integrated into it. And what is the purpose? To write and develop Python codes. Therefore, integrated development environment. So let's move on to Google Colab for the first time now, and let's see how we as DS, DE or cybersecurity analyst, how we can write code on Google Colab, right? So right about now, what you are going to do is very, very simple, right? You are going to go to your browser. You are going to go to your browser, right? And in your browser, you are going to search. You are going to search for Google Colab. That is what you are searching for. Google Colab. Google Colab. That is all you are searching for. Right. Google Colab. You are just one Google search away from writing your first lines of code. Right. So in this class, I want you guys, it's a Thursday. Everybody, I want you guys to just relax and observe me do it. Okay. I want everybody to relax and observe me do it. Right. And then, you can review the recordings over again, and then you can have much, much intense practice session. Okay. But for this particular session, sit back, relax, and watch me do it. Right. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. Right. Everybody, click on Google Colab, and you will be welcomed by Google essentially. You'll be welcomed by Google essentially, right? And this is a portion of the web that enables you create or write Python codes. All you have to do is either open Colab or create new notebook. Let's go ahead and click on new notebook. Let's go ahead and click on what? New notebook. Let's go ahead and click on new notebook. Right. Okay, so we have a new notebook loading up. We have a new notebook loading up. Okay, just because I feel like this is a bit tiny, I'll go ahead and zoom in a bit. Right? I'll make this 125, or better said, I'll make it 150. Right. Okay, we are in full control here. Remember, this is an environment that you can leverage on to write your Python code. So this right about now is an empty notebook. Let's give it a name. If you're creating a normal Word document, you will name your Word document, right? In similar manner to I am naming my Python notebook, created where? In my integrated development environment called what? Google Colab. Let me go ahead and name this notebook. I'll just go ahead and call this, master class, right? Okay, with Python, right? Python. Okay, so why there are a lot of components working in here, for this particular class, we're just going to focus on one particular element that is useful. Which is what? Cells. Is not geo cells, by the way. It is cells, right? It's not Excel cells, by the way. It is cells, right? So the way Google Colab works is it demarcates your code. For example, I can come in here and I can write a line of code here. Show me hello world. This is what this line of code means. Show me hello world. That's what this line of code means. And I'll press Shift and Enter to run it. And this cell would run. Now, before it runs, you need to connect to a computer owned by Google. This is the beauty of Google Colab. Right? If this is running on a web browser connected to another computer, right, that might be faster than what you have, right? So you are strained on resources. You can use Google Colab, and there are resources to help you write Python code and run Python code, right? So I've just written our first lines of code. Congratulations. We have just written our first line of code, right? What does it do, right? This code does what exactly? It prints hello world, and you can see the results down here below the cell. every line of code you write in this cell, every line of code write in this cell, once you run it, if there's a need to display a result, the result will be displayed where? Just below the cell. For example, I'm telling Python right about now, print hello world, show me hello world, yeah, and show me again, yeah, 2 lines of code. First line, print hello world. Second line, the same thing, print hello world part 2, part 2. Hello world is a common greeting for Python programmers, right? And we are all Python programmers by observation in this class, so you might as well start getting to know some of the lingo, right? So I run this again with Shift Enter and see. I have instructed Python, right? I have instructed Python to do what? To print hello world and print what? Hello world part 2. And the result is shown where? Here in the output. The result is shown where? Here in the output. Right. So this is Google Colab and this is a cell. This is Google Colab and this is what? A cell. Okay. So let's go ahead and talk about Python a bit. Let's go ahead and talk about Python a bit. Now I know, for a fact, the budding data scientists, the aspirational data scientists on call, the aspirational data engineers on call, and the energetic cybersecurity analyst on call, we might have different view. If we have any, we would have different view of what Python is used for, right? Of what Python is used for. But what makes Python really, really great is this, right? What makes Python really, really great is this, is the following, right? Python is user-friendly. That's the first example to start with. Python is user-friendly. It's user-friendly. There's a reason why it's as popular as it is. Python is user-friendly, right? It's a user-friendly programming language. It's a user-friendly programming, language, right? It's a user-friendly programming language, right? Also, it is widely used. It is widely what's used. It is widely used, right? Whether you're in data science, whether you're in data engineering, or whether you're in cybersecurity, you are going to meet colleagues, you are going to meet comrades, you are going to meet your fellow programmers that are well skilled in this language. That ensures what? That ensures what? A thriving community behind the language. A thriving community behind the language. Right. So Python is a programming language, right? It's a programming language. The programming language is just a way we instruct or we talk to computers. Simple, straightforward, and short. But why Python? Why Python are cutting across 3 different professions? The first is it's a user-friendly programming language, right? With simplicity and with an extensive community, right? It is widely used in data science, data engineering, and cybersecurity. And the growth projections for Python is always on the rise, right? 10 years, 15 years from now, Python is projected to even have more users, to even have more systems dependent on it, to even have more jobs coming out of this language. A thriving community behind the language. And that is why Python. Now, for the data scientists, obviously, what you use Python for will be different from data engineers. Data scientists, you're manipulating data. You're manipulating data for the data scientists. You're manipulating data most of the time. You're working with data, right? Manipulation and analysis of data, right? Analysis of data, right? For the data engineer, DE, you're most likely doing what? You're most likely leveraging Python to automate the flow of data, right? And for the cybersecurity analyst, CA, right? For the cybersecurity, not continuous assessment. This is the reason why I don't want to use CA, right? For the cybersecurity analyst, right? For automation processes, right? Automation processes usually regarding security, right? These 3 professions leverage Python in either data manipulation or analysis, moving data, or automation regarding security. But they all share the same philosophy regarding Python, a user-friendly programming language, widely used, with a thriving community and projected growth in the coming future. Right. So if you notice so far, I've been highlighting my thoughts in a particular format while I'm typing. I didn't just type like this. I didn't just say, automation. I didn't type like this. I did something before I typed. Right? So who can in the chat tell me what is most common in these 6 lines I've written so far? In these 6 lines, what is the common, character in these 6 lines? Who wants to win the prize from me? Who wants to win the prize from me? What is most common in these 6 lines that I've written so far? What is most common in these 6 lines I have written so far? What is the common character in these 6 lines I have written so far? Who wants to give it a go? Who wants to give it a go before I drop the answer? Who wants to give it a go before I drop the answer? Thank you. Thank you, Fellow. The hashtag symbol. We use the symbol on social media when we say hashtag TGIF, right? We use the symbol in social media when we say hashtag TGIF, right? And, think of it like that. Let's use that analogy, right? In social media, right? You have made a post. You have made your post, right? Then you think of some hashtags that are best what describe us, or can, let me use the word describe what that post is talking about. Oh, I just, posted some throwback pictures. What do I write and do? I'll write and say hashtag throwback Thursday, right? Throwback Thursday. I'll write and put an hashtag in there, right? Now, I am describing a post. I'm saying, oh, this is not me now. This was me, 15 years ago, right? Okay, so the hashtag kind of helps, put in that context, right? Okay, this is what this post is really, really about, right? Hashtag, I am learning data science with analytics. Hashtag, I am learning data engineering with analytics. Hashtag, I am exploring Python with analytics, right? In similar manner too, right? In similar manner, what happens here is this. When you are writing Python code, these are called comments. These are called comments. These are called comments. And comments, in simple terms, comments in simple terms is how you describe your code. Is how you describe your code. Is how you describe your code. What do I mean by how you describe your code, right? I want to write one single line of code. I want to write print hello world. Print hello world. Don't worry, this is not the line of code we're writing today, right? It's the first but not the only, right? I've written my line of code. Now, I can additionally, describe what that line of code does. Oh, this tells the computer to show hello world on screen. This tells the computer to show hello world on screen. One line to tell people what this second line does. So essentially, your code is what you use to instruct your computer. Your Python code is what you use to instruct computer. Your comments is what you use to describe that Python code to people that are not computers, right? A computer can look at this one line and understand everything you are seeing. But a tendency that the human being might look at the line and be like, what is Ibrahim trying to accomplish here? And that is where the comment comes in. That is where the comment comes in. Right. So these are comments, and these are the first ones we're going. This is the first one we're going to look at today. Why are we looking at this first? Because as we move along for the remaining time we have, right, in this practical session, I'm going to be using comments to describe and to properly explain everything we are doing. Right. So let's go ahead and highlight what we are intending to accomplish today. Let's go ahead and highlight what we intend to accomplish today. So I'm going to use comments for that. Right. So the first thing we're looking at today is this. We're looking at actually the first one we're looking at is comments. Technically, we've already done that. So we've already done that. So that's the first one we're looking at. The next thing we're looking at is variables. Variables. For my data experts in the house, right? Not only data experts, but cybersecurity analysts in the house. So variables are an important concept for you to understand, right? After we look at variables, we're going to look at the input command to collect data. The input command to collect what? Data from users. The input command, right? After we look at the input command, we're going to look at the conditionals in Python. We're going to look at the conditionals in Python to check and compare data. To check and compare data. So at this point, right, the data experts in the house, you should be understanding that, input command, conditionals, you need to, have an understanding of that thoroughly. But the cybersecurity analyst, you also need to understand this. Additionally, once we have looked at all this, we're going to look at a project, a mini project, right? A mini project, right? Just, something that spans, 4 or 5 lines of code. So I just want to call it, it's not a full-fledged project. That's something mini, right? Password verification. password verification. How do we take all we have learned so far and simulate what password verification would look like for a system? Oh, the user comes in, inputs a password, right? What would the process to check whether the password is correct look like, leveraging inputs, conditionals, and variables? So you see that all this will play along to showcase, a very, very common process in cybersecurity. So at this juncture, we are reaching out to everybody, both the DS, the DE, and cybersecurity analysts on something to take home. Right. So this is everything we are going to be accomplishing today. Okay, this is everything we are going to be accomplishing today. Let's get started with what? Variables. Okay. Right. So we know what programming languages are, right? We know what programming languages are. Similar to a real life language, English language, for example. I'm speaking in that particular language. I'm communicating to everybody in this particular masterclass session in English language, right? In English language, okay? If I switch it up to bonjour and comment tu t'appelles, I'm communicating in what? French language, right? Not everybody here understands French. The assumption is everybody understands what? English, right? That's the assumption. But not everybody here understands what? French. Similarly to computers understand programming languages, right? Programming languages. So Python, C#, C++, R, the computer you're currently watching me on, you can enable it to understand any of this programming language, right? You can enable it to understand any of this programming language. And the first most important concept under programming languages, be it Python, C#, whatever, is what? Variables. We are going to look at variables in Python. Okay? Now, variables in Python, they are programming containers. They are ways to contain information. They are ways to store values, data values and information. Right? Information. So let me use a simple phone book as analogy. Right. Let me say I reach out to, let me say I'm in a conference. Let's say I'm in a conference, right? And I reach out to Olajide. And Olajide, I realize that Olajide is what are you interested in learning, by the way? DS, DE, or cybersecurity analyst? Just in the chat, CA, DS, or DE, Olajide, right? What is it you are interested in? So I reach out to Olajide. I'm waiting for you, by the way. Okay, business analysis. Wow. So I reach out to Olajide. Olajide saying that he's a body business analyst. I realized that, me and Olajide have a lot in common. One, but secondly, Olajide is very, very compatible with a company I'm also working in. Wow, Olajide, give me your phone number. That's what I'll tell you. Don't give me your phone number in the chat, by the way. Give me your phone number. Right. So Olajide will give me a phone number. Okay. How much like you? I would say what? I would say Olajide, right? First of all, Olajide will say 08 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. This is not a real phone number, by the way, right? Olajide will give me his phone number, and I will save it in my phone book as what? Olajide. Now, in my phone book, this is how it will be most likely, right? In my phone book, there will be a number and there will be a name to save the number with, right? So in Python, what is going on here now on my screen? Because if I should run this, and I say, give me Olajide, it will what? Provide the phone number back to me. What is going on here? I needed to store information. I needed to store, let me just comment to describe what is going on. I needed to store data value. I needed to store value. I needed to store Olajide's phone number in this case. That is the data I needed to store. The data or the variable value. I needed to store Olajide's phone number, right? That is what I needed to store. Okay, in this Python code I'm writing, right? His phone number. What did I do? I took that value using what we call the assignment operator, right? The assignment operator, the equal to sign here that is stubbornly avoiding me. The assignment operator, I assign a variable name to that value. So I said variable name, assignment operator, variable value. Such that if I ever need that variable value in the future, like I did here in this next line, all I have to do is what? Reference it by its variable name. Similarly to how if I ever want to call Olajide and tell him, oh, there's a role open for you. What do I need to do? I don't need to memorize phone number. I just need to know that I'm calling Oladide and type out that number. So you type out that name, that reference, that variable name on my phone book. And what happens? The value gets revealed to me. Similarly here too, a variable, acts as labels for information, right, that can be reused throughout the program. By assigning a value to the variable, by assigning this value to this variable, you can reference or refer to that value later in your code. Later in your code, like I've done here. I assigned this number, this series of numbers to this variable here. And what did I do? I later referenced it. Okay, let's look at another situation. I can also in a similar manner say, okay, what is the name of the facilitator taking us today? The name of the facilitator is what? Ibrahim. That's his name. Ibrahim. That's the name of the facilitator taking us today. The name of the facilitator taking us today, Ibrahim. I am storing that name in a variable called what? Name. Oh, how old is he? He's 100 years old, right? He's 100 years old, right? How good is he in teaching? What's his rating like? Oh, he's 100 over 100. 100 over, he's 100 years old and he's 100 over 100 when it comes to teaching, 100%. Right. I am storing information using variable names. If I ever need to, print the name of the facilitator that took this course, what should I do? I'll say print. And rather than say Ibrahim inside this print statement, I'll say name and run this. And we can see Ibrahim. Okay, I need to run this first. I'll run this and then I'll come back here and run this. And I'll see Ibrahim in here. Oh, also print how old he is. I'll do what? I'll print age. I'm instructing Python. Follow my logic. I'm instructing Python. Python, I want you to show something on the screen. Python will be like, what do you want to show? Name. Python will be like, name is a variable. Let me check up what the value for that variable is. Python look at the value. Oh, the value for name is Ibrahim space Ibrahim. Let me take this and print that, the value for the variable. So this is acting as a placeholder for the actual value that we're not going ahead to what print here. That is what variables are. You use variables to store information, You label the information and you can reference and reuse it throughout your program. Right. In similar manner, I can create a program that asks for input. Right, using the input keyword. Most of these keywords are straightforward. Right? Most of these keywords are straightforward. Print something on the screen, use the print keyword. Ask for input, use the input keyword. I can say, I want my Python code, I want my computer to ask every one of us on call, what is your name? Right? I want you to ask everybody on call, what is your name? Okay? What is your name? Right? That's what I want to ask everybody on call. Okay? And when you tell me your name, I want to save it as a variable called what? Participant's name. I'll say PARNAME for short. I want to save it as a variable called participant name. I will use the input keyword for that. And this time, inside the brackets, I will pass in what I want to ask the participants. Or in this case, I want to ask the participants, what is your name? The moment I run this, what will Python do? Python will look at this long line of code and Python will, okay, Ibrahim is using the input command. Ibrahim wants to ask user for input. Ibrahim wants me to pose the question to the user, what is your name? And when the user types in their name, Ibrahim wants me to save whatever the user types as a variable called PARU, which is short for participant underscore name. Let me run this. Python is asking me, what is your name? As instructed by my programmer, I'm supposed to ask, what is your name? I go ahead and I say, my name is what? Let me pick the last person that commented in the chat, Olajide. Let me just use Ife Oluwa. So my name is Ife Oluwa, right? Ife Oluwa. Okay. And now see, in the next line, I can go ahead and say print, show on screen, welcome. Print whatever name we provided in that input. whatever name we provided, through the input, that is who we want to welcome. PAR_NAME. Print welcome and then print the value in this variable name. How do we get the value in the variable name? Through the input command that we use, where we asked, what is your name? And we had Ifeoluwa as a name. So therefore, when I run this line, what happens? What do we get? Who can tell me what we get when I run this line? Print what? Welcome who do we get? Welcome who? Can I get it in the chat? Welcome who do we get when I run this line, these two lines of code now? What name do we get as the welcome message? Right? What name do we get as the welcome message? We are printing the value stored in PAR or participant_name, and this variable was created when we asked, what is your name? And I imputed what Ifeoluwa as a name. So yeah, I'm seeing people in the chat. So okay, thank you. Ifeoluwa was the person to come to the bat, right? Ifeoluwa said Ifeoluwa, yes. So when I run this, you get welcome Ifeoluwa, and this is the input command, making your Python program dynamic rather than typing participant's name equals to Ifeoluwa, and typing participant name equals to Olajide, and typing participant name equals to Lydia. Rather than doing all that, we can say participant name equals to input. They should be the one to type out their name, and then we can continue the remaining program with whatever inputs they give back to us. We use the input command to collect string input from users, right? From the users of our programs, from the users of the Python programs we create. Let me use a comment to document that. We use the input command to collect, I don't want to use that word input again, so I'll use something else. Let me use the word feedback, although feedback is not the right word. I don't want to use input to describe what we use input command for, right? We use the input command to collect user, let me say feedback of user entry, right? Or user data, feedback or user data, right? During our code execution, right? That is the input command. That is the input command as a way to also do what? Create variables, right? So let's go ahead and look at what else we have on today's calendar, also on today's session, on today's itinerary, right? We are looking at conditionals next. We're looking at conditionals next. Okay, so quick one. Right. There are a handful of us here on call. Olayinka, Mati, Oluwaferonmi, Opeyemi, right? Joannis, Fino, Eli. There are a lot of us here on call. So let me just throw this out to the house. Right? So let me throw it out to the house, right? Okay. So let's say I am your roommate. So everybody whose names I called, let's say I am your roommate, right? I'm currently taking a master class, right? And you are on your way back from work. So you're supposed to get back in by the time the master class is done. But by the time the class is done, I won't be able to go out again. I'll be tired. So I want you to just buy something for me on your way back. So my roommate, those people whose names I called, Joannis, Mati, please pay attention, right? And everyone else whose names I called, right? Now, I call you on the phone before I get on class and I say, hi, Mati, can you get me fruits? I feel like eating fruits for dinner, right? Just something light. Can you get me, a full pineapple, right? If you see pineapple, can you get me a full pineapple? If you don't see a full pineapple, get me, a full watermelon, right? So I'm either eating pineapple or watermelon this night. So first check, if there's pineapple, get me pineapple. Otherwise, get me watermelon. Now, my roommate, Mati, or my roommate, Joannis, or my roommate, Olajide, or my roommate, Ifeoluwa, right? Or the person whose names I called. You get to the store and you realize that there is both pineapple and watermelon. Which one will you get for me? There is both pineapple and watermelon. Which one will you get for me? So I instructed you. Now we're in the mind of a Python program now. So please, this is how you really, really personify and learn the concept we are teaching in class. I instructed my roommate to get, a pineapple or watermelon, right? And you get to the store and they have both in the store. So a pineapple if there's a pineapple, or watermelon if no pineapple, or watermelon if no pineapple. If there's no pineapple, they give me a watermelon. Now you get to the store and they have both pineapple and watermelon. Now the question I'm posing to the audience is, which of these two will you get for me? Which of these two will you get for me? Which of these two will you get for me? So I've seen some individuals in the chat. Okay, Olajide said no. Olajide said none, or to call to let you know. Okay, Olajide has said pineapple also. Yeah, if you has said pineapple, or Okwemi has said pineapple. So it seems like these are the only faithful roommates I have. Like the rest of us whose names I called, they are just letting me starve to bed this night. Wow, that's not fair. Okay, so pineapple, right? Because the idea was this: check for pineapple first. If there's pineapple, get it. If there's no pineapple, get watermelon. So essentially, here's how it goes: get to the store, check for the first item, pineapple. Oh yes, there's pineapple. Let me get that. Oh, there's no pineapple. Give me watermelon. Now, if there's no pineapple and watermelon, you move, right? You are done, right? But if there's a pineapple, get pineapple. If there's no pineapple, get watermelon, right? That is exactly what you do. So you get pineapple in this first case. You get pineapple in this first case, right? And in the same manner I just told you as my roommate, Matty, I just told you as my roommate, let me get something, and I provided conditions. I provided what? Conditions on what to do, right, in different cases. That is how we can instruct Python to do the same thing. That is how we can instruct Python to do the same thing. That is how we can instruct Python to do the same thing using conditionals. Using conditionals. With conditionals, Python can make decisions while executing code. Python can make what? Decisions. Python can make what? Decisions while executing code. For example, a typical example of a decision, right, is this. You go to the ATM machine, you put in your ATM card, you ask for 10 million naira, you wanted to type 10,000 naira, but you basically added three more zeros, and now it is 10 million naira. If there was not a decision-making point in place in that ATM machine's program, the ATM machine will give you 10 million. But because there's a decision-making process in place, that enables the ATM program to check, does this individual have 10 million in their accounts? That question is asked. Yes or no? 2 decision points. Yes, give him. No, insufficient funds. You see how in real life day-to-day example, you see how it is executed using what? Programming languages. Now, I'm not sure whether the ATM machine was programmed with Python, but trust me, a programming language is used to instruct your ATM machines, right? Most likely the older ones. You see, let's look at another example that Python can, is most likely used to handle. You go onto a website. You're about to log onto a website. You type in your username and password. You type in your password. Right? You type in your password. A decision point is there. Oh, is this the correct password or not? If it is the correct password, what happens? If it is the correct password, what happens? Let him in. If it is the wrong password, what happens? Incorrect password, retry, or lost password. You understand? Decision points are so common whenever we are instructing people, computers, children. Decision points are always common, right? You get to a point where you feel like there are multiple ways this thing can go. Let me instruct through my programming language. Let me instruct this computer how to act in different scenarios. If it's scenario A, here's how you act. If it is scenario B, here's how you act. If there's a pineapple, here's how you act. If there's no pineapple, here's how you act. If he has this amount in his balance, in his account, here's how you act. If he doesn't have this amount, here's how you act. If he typed in the correct password, if she typed in the correct password, here's how you act. If she does not type in the correct password, here's how you act. 3 different examples, but the most important thing is what? The if keyword. The if keyword. If keyword. Very, very important keyword. The if keyword. If, if, if. See, I told you what about Python is that from the keyword, you know what it does. The input keyword is used to collect user input. The print keyword is used to print statements. To check if a condition is true or false, the if keyword is used. You see how very, very, you see when they say Python is user friendly, they were not joking. They were not joking. They were not joking. Take everything as surface value. The if keyword is used to check if a condition is true or false. Right. So let's go down, look up a simple example. Let's go up and look up a simple example, right? Let's check out a simple example. Okay. If I'll create two variables. A is equals to 20, B is equals to, or let me use real world examples actually. Let me use something much better. Account balance. Let me use account balance. Let's create the account balance one. Account balance is equals to, I'll say 200. Or let me say 2000. Let me say 2000, right? Withdraw amount, right? Withdraw amount, right? Withdraw amount. Withdraw amount is what? The person wanted to withdraw, let's say 10,000. Now, if account balance, pay close attention, everybody. Pay close attention, everybody. If account balance is greater than the amount he wants to withdraw, if he has more money in his account than what he wants to withdraw, what happens? What happens? We go ahead and say print, collect your money. Collect your money. Right. Collect your money. Right. Else, if account balance is greater than or equal to, I will break this down thoroughly now. I will break all this down thoroughly now. I'm just trying to set up a first decision making for program for our Python masterclass, right? If the account balance is the same or greater than the amount he wants to withdraw, tell him on the screen, collect your money, because we would have the ATM within the usual noise it makes, right? And then it brings the money out. So essentially, we need to print on the screen, collect your money. Else, what do we print? What's that famous two-word phrase that we know so well? What's that famous two-word phrase? Right? Insufficient funds. Yeah, nobody dreads this phrase more than me. Nobody dreads this phrase more than me. Right? Insufficient funds. Right. So let's run this. Now, let's look at the situation on ground. Withdrawal amount is actually greater than account balance. Withdrawal amount is greater than account balance. So therefore, we should expect a collect your money phrase. Oh, let's see. What's the issue? Account balance is, sorry, withdrawal amount is not greater than account balance. Pardon me for that. Withdrawal amount should be 1,000 and the account balance is 2,000. Pardon me for that. Right. I run this and see collect your money, right? Because I'm just drawing, 1,000 naira and my account balance is 2,000 naira, right? Now let's say I make a mistake. I had an additional zero. I make a honest mistake, and I had an additional zero, right? And I run this insufficient funds. Python needed to make a decision. The ATM machine needs to make a decision. The program tells it simple, straight, and short. This is the action you perform when the situation is like this. This is the action you perform when the situation is otherwise. Let's say we have the exact amount is what I want to withdraw. This exact amount, which is possible in this case. Collect your money. Now let's break down what we have written so far. We came to a decision point. In this program. This is supposed to be an ATM machine code. We came to a decision point in our ATM code, right? Which is when they want to withdraw, what do we do when they have the exact amount or greater, or what do we do when they have less, right? We came to a decision point. So the first thing we do is what? We specify what Python should be checking for. Python, check. We tell Python in this line, check if the account balance he has in this account, check if it is greater than or equal to. That is why we have this symbol here. Check if the value stored in the variable account balance is greater than or equal to withdrawal amount. Greater than or equal to the amount he wants to withdraw. That's the first thing we do. Right? And if that is the case, Go ahead and tell him to collect his money because we'll be giving him the money almost immediately. Tell him to collect money. Tell him or her, or tell user essentially, tell user to collect cash. Now, if otherwise is true, if he doesn't have enough in his account, he says I'm using comments to describe now to you what my program is doing, the importance of commenting. If he doesn't have enough, tell him insufficient fund. Insufficient fund. This is us instructing the language on how to act. We use the greater than or equal to symbol to check is value A on the left-hand side greater than value B on the right-hand side. Is account balance greater than withdrawal amount? Use the greater than symbol to answer that question. If that answer is true, if that answer is yes, account balance is greater than withdrawal amount, perform this action. Otherwise, if this answer is not true, perform what is under else. If there's pineapple, oh, we check there's pineapple. Oh, that's true. There's after pineapple. Buy pineapple. Else, buy watermelon. Now, in advanced cases, if both of them are not available, there are ways we can go ahead to adjust our code to account for that. Right. Okay. So, with that being said, this is what conditionals are. This is what conditionals are. Decision points in your code, decision points in your code and, executing actions based on the situation of things, Okay. So with that being said, we are going to go ahead now and we're going to look at one last thing before I hand over to Chukwemeka, which is password verification. We are going to take all we've known so far in just these three concepts and simulate what cybersecurity analysts do on a day-to-day basis, but in a much, much simpler manner for you to understand and for it to be very digestible. What are we going to do? We are going to use inputs. We're going to use inputs to collect user password. Before we do that, we are going to first store the correct password in a variable. Store correct password in a variable. Right? Store correct password in a variable. Then use inputs to collect user password. Think of it like this. You go on the website, you're about to type in your password. The website knows your correct password. So it is waiting with that on standby. That is what line 1 is. Store correct password in a variable. Then use inputs to collect user password. Then what do? Use conditional to check and respond if password is correct or wrong. This last line looks like it is much longer than this, but don't worry. Let's break it down step by step. Step 1, let's set our correct password. Correct password. I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm not using this number. I'll just use 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, correct password. Okay. Next up, you log on to the website. The input command is there to ask you for your password. Input, enter password. Now, this I also save as a variable called what? User input. I have 2 variables in play. First variable containing the correct password. The second variable containing what? The user's entered password. And finally, let's set up our conditional. This is where the work starts. I think these first 2 lines, we should be familiar with these first 2 lines. Assigning variables to a value, assigning variables to a user input. Third line, conditioning or conditionals to check if user input is the same as correct password. If user input, watch me. I want to compare, not if one is greater than the other or one is less than the other. I want to compare if user input is what? Equal to. Let me do that again. Equal to. Let me do that one last time. Equal to. See that it is 2 equal to symbol. I'm using this time around for that. One equal to symbol. One symbol is for what? Assigning values to variable names. 2 symbols is for what? Checking if what is on the left hand side is the same as what is on the right hand side. I go ahead and say if user input is equivalent to what? Correct password. Oh, Python, what do we do when user inputs and correct password is the same? What do we do? We print a welcome message. Welcome, welcome, welcome. That's what we do, right? Welcome, welcome. That's what we do. Welcome, right? Whether that's a password correct, right? Welcome. That's what we do. Else, else. Oh, this user has computed the wrong password. Because if the user input is not the same as the correct password, what does that mean? That means that the password must be different from what the user is inputting, and as such, what do guys we print? We print wrong password. One attempt left. One attempt left. Your account is deleted. Your account is deleted. This is our website. We are very, very secure. You try 2 times, it doesn't work. Bye-bye. So better know your password. Right. So this is what we have created. Right. So I will run it. Okay. So the original, we know the correct password in this case, but I'll go ahead and I'll say 234. Wrong password, one attempt left, the account is deleted. Oh, okay, I'm in trouble. What's the correct password? Let me try and recall. Oh, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, right. Password correct. Welcome. See what we have done here. In just how many minutes? In just how many minutes I've been with you guys? We just saw few concepts. I didn't show you everything Python has to offer. I showed you just the commenting, which is not even relevant here. I showed you variables. I showed you inputs. I showed you conditionals. And with just those 3 concepts, we are mimicking real world situation. Now, think of a case where you understand the ins and outs of Python. What more you can accomplish? With just 3 concepts, we are able to mimic a very rampant and in-demand process, most especially relevant to the cybersecurity space: password verification. With just 3 concepts in an hour, we have been able to mimic, a situation that is extremely common, right? Now, imagine you having thorough understanding of the programming language, something we do here at Analytics. So, with that being said, I'm going to hand over, right, at this juncture to my amiable comrade, Chukwemeka, to take us through what are the rigors of the curriculum, what is entailed in the curriculum, and what what conditionals you need to fulfill to know if you are compatible to the data science, data engineering, or cybersecurity analyst program. Right. So at this juncture, I will hand over, to Chukwemeka. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ibrahim. You've done really a fantastic job. Please confirm that you can hear me. Hi, Ibrahim. Please confirm that you can hear me.
I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you.
All right. Thank you so much. If you are still here with us to this very moment, please just type in any emoji or a number in the chat box so that we know that you are still following us till this very moment. Okay, just type in anything in the chat box so that we know that you are still here with us till this very moment before we dive right into the second aspect that we want to go into now. Okay, I can't say anything from my end, Ibrahim. Is it my own access, right?
Yeah, JB said amazing. Paul said yes. Yeah, so we are having a stream of inputs. If
I can't see anything. You guys have sacked me, Abby. You've logged me out. I can't see anything from my own end.
Okay. Let me see if that can be addressed now. Right. So
okay, I think all right, that's by the way. I'll figure it out. Okay. So thank you so much. I can see JB's comment now, but he's direct messaging me. That's why I'm able to see it. Okay, fantastic. So thank you so much to everyone for listening to this very moment. I'm going to bring up my screen so that we instantly continue the other part of the session. All right. But I hope we're able to follow every single thing that Ibrahim walked us through before now. We're going to get into a more non-technical aspect where we'll discuss to get to understand every other thing that we need to know about each of the programs that we are running here. Okay, so I'm bringing up my screen. Just one moment, please. All right. Okay, I think someone sent a message to me.
Yeah, I spotlighted you, so they
Oh,
can
okay,
see
right.
they can see you in full now. They can
All
see
right,
them. Okay.
that's fine. Okay, so we are going to get into this other aspect basically. Some people always ask this question, but what a career should I get into that guarantees me to get a job quickly? Because one thing that we consider as success here at Analytics is the ability to move you from the classroom to landing your first role. Okay, either you're trying to move from a non-technical background, maybe from customer service or from care or from construction, trying to get into the tech field. What exact career path do you need to consider? I know tonight we sort of hinge basically on how to leverage Python to perform some activities that is relevant for a data scientist, relevant for a data engineer, and also relevant to a cybersecurity to an extent. But there are still several other career paths that also exist. So what we do every year is that we scrape our websites, basically LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, Total, CV Library, Monster, and Google Jobs in UK, US, Canada, and of course Africa, and get all the job posts that are there. Then perform our own data analysis in-house and choose the jobs that have the ease of learning, ease of transitioning, and high rewarding salary. So there are three considerations that we take. The same way Ibrahim did conditional formatting, that's how when we do our own scraping, the conditional formatting we are putting in place is the jobs that have the ease of learning. That's the job that you can learn without the need to have a technical background in that exact area. Then ease of transitioning also, are they jobs that you can move into that from the place you are coming from, there are transferable skills that you can leverage to land that exact job also. And then, of course, the one that most of us always love to hear, high rewarding salary. The one that most of us always love to hear, high rewarding salary. I mean, most of us join tech for the money. That's the truth. Some people join for the passion, but me personally, I joined tech for the high rewarding salary aspect. So after doing all these things, we came up with these 8 courses that met this criteria: business analytics, Scrum Master, which is agile project management, data analysis, data science, data engineering, cybersecurity analyst, financial analyst, and of course, HR analyst. Okay, so you can see the 8 courses that I just mentioned: business analytics, agile project management, Scrum Master, data analytics, data science, data engineering, cybersecurity analyst, financial analyst, and then HR analyst. Then we always go a step further to seek external validation that these jobs are actually relevant. So what do we do? There is this report that we call the Future of Jobs. That's always published by the World Economic Forum every 2 years. Okay, so what they do is that they project the jobs that are going to be in high demand in the next coming years. So on the left-hand side, you're going to see the jobs that are going to grow. On the right-hand side, you're going to see the jobs that are going to decline. All right, so if you take a look at my left-hand side, you see the jobs that are going to grow. So if anything you are pursuing at the moment is on the right-hand side, simply means you're on the wrong side of history. Okay, when people mention things like, is AI going to take our jobs? I mean, these are the people on this right-hand side, basically, right? But people on the left-hand side, these are jobs that are going to constantly grow in the next coming years. And the first there is AI and machine learning specialist, sustainability specialist, business analyst, intelligence analyst, information security analyst, fintech engineers, data analysts, robotics, big data. So you can see a lot of jobs there. Can equally see things like robotics engineer, all right? But why are they not selected? Remember, we chose 3 conditions: ease of learning, ease of transitioning, and high rewarding salary. So for a course like robotics engineering, does it give you high rewarding salary? 100%. Will it give you ease of transition and ease of learning? That is not assured. These are areas that you might get into and you end up staying, doing a course for close to a year before you can end up getting into that exact industry. But people want things that they can do within 4 to 6 months and be able to land roles. And that's why we chose these courses that I've highlighted: data analytics, data science, cybersecurity, data engineering, business analyst, and agile project management, data engineers, cybersecurity, financial analyst as well. So And one mistake that people make when they seek for roles is that we always concentrate on the keyword. For instance, we're looking for a data analyst role, and you're not checking things like a sales analyst. You're just, maybe when you go to Glassdoor or LinkedIn or any of the job sites, you simply just search for jobs that are related to data analytics. But there are always a lot of jobs that have been rebranded to a different name. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to make sure that we are searching for multiple job titles. So if you have the data analyst role or data analyst skill, you can comfortably apply to jobs as a business intelligence analyst. All right, it can apply to jobs that relate to marketing analyst, it can apply to sales analyst role, can apply to logistics analyst role, and so much more. Same thing with respect to data engineering. If you're someone that is tilting towards data engineering, can apply to jobs that relate to analytics engineer, BI engineer or developer, AWS cloud engineering, Azure cloud engineer, and others. Same thing with cybersecurity. You can always apply to jobs that seeks to SOC analyst, information security analyst, network security engineer, pen tester, and others. Okay, so there are always other roles that is linked to that exact job that you are looking to apply. So I may not be able to touch base with all of them, but please ensure you fill the attendance form. Okay, so if you fill the attendance form, you'll get both the recording of the class and the slide that we're using for this session. Okay, so the recording, for you to have access to every single thing that was said, starting from the introduction of Google Colab to this exact moment. So you can even practice the little demonstration that we had on your own, so they can see the ease of learning that Python also promises. Okay, so please ensure that you fill the attendance form that my colleagues are dropping in the chat, so that you will be able to get the slide that we're using for this class and also the recording that we are going to produce afterwards. Right, so moving on, there's always this misconception around, is this really possible? Okay, is this something I can do within this couple of months the way it's preached? Okay, but I'm here to tell you that there are evidence to people that have been able to walk this exact journey. Right, so we have people like Abigail. So Abigail moved from being a care worker in Canada to becoming a business analyst with Government of Alberta in Edmonton, Canada. Okay, and we have Tony also that moved from a medical background as a pharmacist to becoming a benefit analyst. All right, and Tony works with NHS in UK on a full visa sponsorship job. Okay, just 1 month after training with us. We also have people like Anointing Steven, that is also a former customer service rep, but he transitioned into becoming a data analyst after joining the data analytics program. People like Ikmat as well. I always love Ikmat's story, okay? Because she always refers to herself as a full-time stay-at-home mom. So she moved from being a full-time stay-at-home mom into landing 2 job offers in UK that she now had to select the exact one that she desired. People like Abdurrashid also. Abdurrashid currently, I think he used to stay in one state in southwest or southwestern part of Nigeria. Then he landed a role in US, and he now had to move to the capital city of Abuja. I think my screen has stopped. Let me bring it back up instantly, please. 1 minute, okay? 1 minute. So what I'm trying to show us is that all these are possible, okay? Within all this period that I've mentioned, but it boils down to, first, you need to be able to get the technical skill. You need to be able to get the technical skill for you to be able to transition. You need to learn all this within this stipulated period of time. And I also love to tell people that the best time to always to get into the tech ecosystem is during the ending part of the year. And guess what? We are the ending part of the year. October, November, December, these are periods when companies are always trying to organize their strategy sessions, trying to organize their company retreats, end of year plans. And that's when they also plan what our recruitment plan for next year. Okay, what are we going to do with respect to bringing more people into the company next year? So when you learn a new skill and you are applying towards the end of the year also, your chances of landing a role by the beginning of the year is also very high, right? rather than waiting, okay, let me wait till next year before I start to kickstart my journey. By then, we are all already in the New Year rush. People are always making the New Year resolution, things they want to achieve. And at that very moment, there are enough people in that exact pool. But for you to put yourself aside is towards the ending part of the year that people are now saying, oh, let me just, chill out throughout this year. January, I'll continue again. That's the point where you need to get in. It's just like people that trade crypto or foreign exchange or stuff like that generally. The point where the noise is too much about, oh, this asset is doing, this digital token is doing so well. That's the point where people that make that money, that are leaving the market. And when people are now complaining, oh, this asset is so poor, I've lost my money, that's when people that understand the business are entering that exact sector. So that's the same way the tech ecosystem works. Now that the noise is now reducing because we are getting towards the ending part of the year, that's when it is very important to learn new skill and transition. By January, a lot of people are going to come up again. Oh, I want to join tech. Oh, I want to do this one. By then, the availability of all those vacancies may not really be there again. So people also ask, were they able to do this within 4 months? Okay, how did they achieve it within 4 months? So there's what we call the 6 steps approach for you to land a role. All right, so it's not just the technical skill aspects, right? There are several other layers that you need to also be able to unlock. And first is identify your desired tech career. Okay, so we're going to do a quick exercise right now. Let's see in the chat box the tech career that you've decided that you want to transition into. Okay, so please, when dropping your chat, try to send it to make it everyone. Okay, so that I can be able to see. Don't limit it to one exact individual. Right? Make sure you are sending it to meeting group chats. Okay, make sure your send to is written meeting group chat so that I'll be able to see your messages. Okay, so first step, we need to be able to identify your desired tech career. So for people that have made their decisions already, let me see the tech career that you decided that you want to go into. Let's drop it in the chat box. Okay, just 1 minute and we'll move on again. Hi, please confirm because I can't see any chat dropping. Are people dropping messages and I'm not seeing it?
Okay, so people are dropping messages here. I'm seeing to my direct message.
Oh,
and
okay.
Yeah, I'm seeing data science.
Amazing. Okay, so guys, for everyone to see your message, make sure on that send to, there is a dot, and then you are going to see meet. Click on that exact name there and select meeting group chats. So if you select meeting group chats, it will make your message available to the meeting group chat. All right. But if you just select maybe one person's name there, you're sending it directly to that exact individual. Right. So please make sure that yours is on meeting group chat so that everyone, myself, other co-hosts that have, will also be seeing what you are dropping. Okay. So it's very, very, very important. All right. So I believe some of us have made our decisions on the exact tech stack that we want to get into. Next step is to educate yourself. Now, a lot of us struggle to break into the tech industry because any single thing that comes out, we jump and learn. Looker will come, we jump. Google Colab will come, we jump. Excel will come, we jump. SQL will come. Apache Spark will come. So there is no exact direction, right? But when you join a dedicated learning institute like Analytics, you are going to be developed on a pathway, right? So the most things that people are doing these days is to look at what worked out and implement it for themselves. For instance, this person is a data engineer. This person is a data scientist. This person is a cybersecurity analyst. What did they learn that I need to learn for me to transition? Okay, so these are things that we do because we bring in expert professionals into our system to help to build our curriculum and also teach our students. So the second step after making the initial decision of this is where I want to go into is to say, I'm going to register for this exact course, right? And next is to build up your project-based experience, right? So because you are coming from a background that is different from where you are going to, how do you show evidence of the new skills that you've acquired? Is by learning using project-based approach. Okay, it's by learning using project-based approach, which means, for instance, you're going to work on project that's in the health sector, work on projects from oil and gas, work on projects from finance industries, work on projects from FMCG, from supply chain, and so much more. So what it makes you is that it makes you to be an all-rounder that can easily speak with respect to all those sectors of the economy. And this is the beauty of learning using project-based model, right? And next one is to gain employability skills. So some of us also in the tech industry, I mean, when it comes to the technical aspect, we can write heaven and earth when it comes to code. But can you speak? Can you build your CV? Can you model your LinkedIn in such a way that people are going to reach out to you? Can you present yourself and communicate effectively? These are some of the places that we also lack when it comes to trying to land roles. And it is very, very important. It is extremely important. So number 1 to number 3 has to deal with your technical aspects, whereas number 4 to 6 is now about your employability skills, okay? It's about how employable are you with respect to the soft skills that you're able to gather for yourself. Then number 5 is also networking, right? So beauty of communities like this is that it gives you the avenue to meet people from different countries. I mean, on this call alone, we have people from Canada, we have people from US, people from UK, people from Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa. I think we have someone from even Australia as well. So we have people cut across different countries. And what it does is that it opens your global association, right? And when you have all those links scattered across the country, across the world rather, you are already one leg ahead into your new thing. There's this guy that he was applying to multiple jobs and he got a job offer. Then afterwards, he was still getting other job offers. So what he told the recruiter is, can I refer people that are my colleagues also that are looking for the next big thing? And the recruiter said, yeah, why not? And he shared it with the people that he was in the same cohort with. And right there, I think 3 of them moved from the class to their first roles because of this guy. So that's the beauty of networking. Then next is mentorship session. Mentorship is very, very, very critical with respect to our journey. I mean, no matter the tech stack they're trying to move into, it's very important that you have someone that you're looking up to. Me also, I have someone I'm looking up to. And that means that this person will come around, I'll go to the person and we'll have conversation. Okay, this is what I did my own time when I had challenges. This is how I was able to navigate it so that you will not also have this exact challenge. And that is the beauty of mentorship session. So the way we can apply this 6-step approach is just simple. For instance, someone on Discord joined and said, oh, my name is Glory and I'm a teacher. Okay, and Glory have identified, oh, I want to be a data engineer. Next thing is Glory registered with Analytics and then built her own project, built up her portfolio to show evidence of things that she'd learned. She also was able to get the employability skills that is relevant and also built her networking and was mentored as well by the tech leaders in this exact company. And next is Glory is coming out after 4 months. Oh, my name is Glory and I'm a data engineer. So you see, things that you might say, oh, December is just here. But if you start your journey right now, by the end of December, you will have a new portfolio. You'll be a new person. Okay? So people always mention the grass is greener. People always think that the grass is greener on the other side, really. But the grass is only greener where you water it, right? So if you decide that the next 3 months, you're going to use it for your learning journey, that means you can be the next Glory. That instead of us coming here to have, oh, Glory is here, we can have, oh, we had maybe Abiola or Adebola or Akin or Barasa or Clem, the same way that we'll have Glory here and talk about your own story. So I always also ask this question most time because people always have this misconception. I don't have a background in this area. Can I actually thrive in this industry? So I'm going to ask us a question also. You have a car and your car broke down. So you've gone to the first mechanic workshop and the guy said, oh, I have a degree from Harvard University as a mechanical engineer. Bring your car, I'll repair it for you. Okay. And you've gone to the second person. The next person said, oh, I've repaired this Aston Martin, I've repaired this Rolls Royce, I've repaired this Volkswagen, I've repaired this Lexus, this Toyota, and so on. I don't have a degree, but this is my workshop, and these are things I've done. Who are you going to give your car to repair for you? Okay, so let's quickly drop it in the chat box. This scenario, the person 1 that has Harvard degree, or the person 2 that has a workshop filled with Aston Martin, Lexus, Rolls Royce, Toyota, and other cars that he's been able to repair without a degree. Who will you give your car to repair for you? Okay, I think I can see a couple of charts dropping now. Lomoro said person 2, amazing. And Lomoro said person 2. Please, when dropping your comments, ensure that you please make sure you're sending it to the group meeting, okay, so that I will be able to see it, okay? So I don't know if you can see any chat from your own end, so that I'll be sure what people are also responding, right? But the one I got, person 2 came in, person 2 came in, person 2 came in. So this is to show us the importance of experience. Now, that's the same way that you that is trying to break into the tech industry needs to have an evidence to your own learning, right? So every single thing that you will learn will lead you into building a portfolio like this, that you are going to use to show evidence of your own learning journey, right? So let me quickly see if I can open this portfolio of a data scientist, so we can see what she said she's done. So you can see that she has 21 jobs in her own repository. You can see the things that she did using Excel, things that she did using Tableau, things that she did using Python, and also a real estate job, an Emirates company, then Health Quest, also in the health industry. So you can see a couple of projects that she's been able to work on. Now, if Peace is coming to me to request for a job, oh, I've done something relating to web scraping for customer buying behavior. I've done something for diabetes prediction using Tableau also. I've done something for customer churn prediction using Python. I've done computer vision. These are my own projects. These are things that I've done in all this sector of the economy. And this is Peace coming from maybe a customer experience background. And you, in all your glory, you are coming from, oh, I studied computer science. I have my master's from University of Hull. This is me. What have you done really? And I mean, in this tech ecosystem, it's always competence over credentials. Say it's always competence over credentials. So if you don't get anything tonight, just have it at your fingertips that it's always competence over credentials. I had a CTO one time, one of my companies I worked before. This guy did have a university degree. Okay, the CTO, that's the chief technology officer of that company, he doesn't have a university degree. He's someone that finished in college and he started coding, doing software dev and all those things. And he grew on the ladder. 10 years, he didn't go to school and he was comfortably coding. So it was right there in the company when people are already coming in and, saying I have this one, I have that one, that he decided to go back to school and started getting all those things personally for himself. But he doesn't really need it because he is already the CTO. And that is the beauty of having an experience-based learning. So these are things that you walk through also in the program. You'll be assisted on how to build your portfolio for you to be able to land all these jobs. Okay, but how can you now get into any of these career paths? So quickly, I'm going to brush us through on the three main classes, main focus for tonight. I mean, when we're discussing initially, we're talking about data science, data engineering, and also cybersecurity. So I'm going to walk us through the curriculum, but if you have any question pertaining to any of those other programs, you are liberty to also ask. So as a data scientist, first thing we're going to walk you through is statistics, okay? So when we come into the data ecosystem, the data analyst is handling the question of descriptive and diagnostic analytics, all right, which is what happened and why it happened. But a data scientist is going a step further to answer the question of predictive analytics, what will happen in future. So I always prefer to call these guys the future tellers. I mean, if you want to be a god that's going to predict what's going to happen in future, then you should be looking towards this beautiful career path, data science, right? So first thing is the statistics. You're going to be walked through descriptive statistics, your mean, median, mode. It's not in the mathematical sense, no? So each of these key learning areas, you have a real life project attached to it. Okay, so they can be able to also build your own portfolio the same way you saw P's portfolio, right? And next thing, you move towards forecasting and predictive analytics using Excel, where we'll now walk you through your time series analysis, your regression analysis for your trend prediction, and also Tableau for data analysis. So it's necessary for you to also have a visualization tool that can be able to use to connect to different data sources and also create visuals. Then, of course, SQL, structured query language, because you should be working with databases. So for you to interact with that exact database, what's the language that it understands? That's SQL. And we're going to walk you through the basic queries, the select, your insert, your update, your delete, and several others. And of course, the advanced level, your joins, your subqueries, and your unions also, for you to understand it vividly. Then for Python programming, I mean, I don't have to say much there. That's the little one that we have to handle today. So you understand your basic query, your basic syntax and your data types, your strings and lists, and of course, how to leverage your functions and also your module. Then we'll move into exploratory data analysis. How do you identify patterns and also review outliers? So these are things we are going to walk you through in the data science program. Then machine learning is also very, very critical. Your supervised and your unsupervised learning, where you're learning your regression, your classification, and of course, your clustering system. Then computer vision. How do you do your image processing and your object detection? It is also very, very important. Then GitHub, what I showed us that Peace had is also a GitHub account. So we're going to also walk you through how to build your own GitHub account and also be able to put your works inside it. Then how do you leverage ChatGPT for data science and be able to make AI work for you? So this is a 4-month program where you learn immersively in the classroom for 3 months. And then afterwards, you have an internship experience for 1 extra month. So it simply means if you start October, November, December, you should be able to start applying to roles that is for January, guys. And that is the best way to give yourself a new year gift. So if you said last year, I'm going to start tech this year, the best time to transition is right now. Because after now, it means their own transition is definitely going to enter next year. The class holds every Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, and then 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. That is comfortable for people in Canada and US. That should be around 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Then on Sundays, you get the self-paced Watch Me Do It videos that is going to introduce you into other concepts. Okay, so please ensure that you fill the attendance form that my colleague is dropping so that you will be able to have the recording of all these things that we are saying and also access to this slide that we're using for this exact class. Okay, so next one is data engineer, right? When we talk about data engineers, who exactly are these guys? Right, so data engineers are the people that I prefer to call diplomas in a construction company. So the same way in your building in company, you have a plumber that is connecting the shower to the septic tank, the water system to the septic tanks, your sink, your tap, your everything that you have in your house that has to do with water. He channels everything towards the septic tank. That's the same way the data engineer is connecting different pipelines towards the database to collect data, right? And the first thing that you are going to be doing is understanding data architecture and data lifecycle. So that's where data introduction to data engineering comes in. And then before you move to SQL, so the same way a data scientist is using SQL to bring out data and analyze, for you, as a data engineer, it's not from the aspect of how do you bring data from the different sources and put in the database. For instance, you're a data engineer working for a bank, and the bank has a mobile app, they have a web application page, they also have their manual processes that someone has to key in. How do you build your different channels that every data collection is feeding your database? So these are things that you have to build as a data engineer. Then, of course, how do you also leverage Python as a data engineer? Then Linux operating system is very important. So as a data engineer, it's no more you just having an understanding of Mac OS or Windows operating system. No, you need to go a step further and understand Linux OS. Then how do you build a custom ETL pipeline? How do you build a custom ETL pipeline that, for instance, you want to, every morning, you want to scrape Jumia websites and then transform it in your Google Colab or any of the IDs that you want to use. and then from there, load it to your own database. How do you make this to happen? That instead of every morning, someone will go to Jumia and check all the prices of laptops, you have it on your own database that simply what you have to do is click a button and you see it. Then how do you automate all those processes? That is going to be scheduling, and then the workflow and the management and everything will just be ease. That is where Apache Spark and Apache Airflow also comes in. Then, of course, AWS Cloud Engineering. AWS Cloud Engineering. How do you leverage Amazon Web Services to deploy, to manage, and to scale your data? Okay, and also GitHub for you to be able to build your own portfolio, and how you can also leverage ChatGPT as a data engineer. So the learning timeline for data engineering is 5 months. So you're going to learn immersively in the classroom for 3 months, all right? And then have an internship experience for 2 months, okay? So it means that consistently for 5 months, 3 months in the classroom, learning using project-based approach, and then 2 months, you are using it to also work on other real-life case studies to build up your portfolio. The class holds every Saturday by 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. West African time. Okay, so it's a combined class. And then on Sundays, you also get your short bite videos. Then as a cybersecurity person, I mean, we all know who a cybersecurity guys are. These are people that protect digital assets of a company. So the same way you have 2FA on your phone, you have password on your phone, you have a key to protect your house. That is how it's also relevant and very important for someone to protect the digital assets that exist. And there has been constant rise in digital attacks. So that's where these guys come in to be able to protect the digital assets of the company. All right. And what are you going to be learning? First off, you need to understand computing and networking, right? You need to understand networking. How do you build an easy flowing system? How do you deploy an internet network that is going to flow using Cisco Packet Tracer, right? And next is we have your introduction to cybersecurity and information security principles. What is the principle on which cybersecurity is hinged on, which is CIA triad. You need to be able to understand the CIA triad: confidentiality, integrity, and availability before going into offensive and defensive cybersecurity. Then cryptography basics, cyber threat and attack vectors, network security, endpoint security, web application security, cloud security, incident response and forensic, and then cybersecurity career and certification. So you're going to be learning Linux, you're going to be learning Wireshark, you're going to be learning Cisco Packet Tracer, you're going to be learning Nmap, and of course, you are going to be learning Nexus. So there are still several other tools pertaining to a cybersecurity personnel that you will be learning critically. You know, most times people think, oh, cybersecurity is like we see it in the movies. Blah, 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 blah. Nah, it's not really like that. I mean, there are advanced level like that, but there are also the ones that you leverage the availability of tools for you to break into that exact industry. Okay, the class holds on Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. also. And then on Sundays, you get a short bite video to introduce you to other concepts that we call the Watch Me Do It videos, right? So the learning timeline is also for 4 months, where you learn immersively in the classroom for 3 months, and then have your internship for 1 month, working on also real life projects. You can also see the various job tracks that you can also be in as a cybersecurity person. So like I've mentioned before, the formula for you to land a role is actually very simple. T plus E. You've already been given the technical skills, and then the next is employability skills. And that is what differentiates us from the people out there, right? That is what differentiates us. So when it comes to the employability services, we're also going to give you the CV review sessions, all right? How do you build your CV in a way that will pass the ATS, that applicant tracking system, right? Remember we mentioned things like as a data engineer, you can work as a BI developer, you can work as an Azure engineer, you can work as an NLP engineer, and so much more, which means for any of these roles you want to go for, you need to be able to tailor your CV to fit that exact job, right? You can't use one CV to apply to multiple roles. In fact, there's this survey I was reading before I came on this call. It said for you to land a role, you need to even apply to 27 jobs a day to land one job interview in 1 month, right? That's the data as at now. Apply to 27 jobs in a day to land one job interview in a month. So you can see the competition. Now, it means that for that exact 27 jobs, you need to learn how to match your CV to that exact job description and show your strong foot on that exact role that you're going for also. So these are things that we'll also walk you through. And of course, we'll talk to you about how you can build up your LinkedIn profile that recruiters will be the one now reaching out to you. I mean, it should be a couple of weeks ago, someone reached out to me that I need to come and speak somewhere. And I was not, if I didn't build up my LinkedIn, these guys will have access to know, okay, this person is existing. But because that optimization has been done, people now have access to know these are things that you can do and these are things that you cannot do. Of course, you also be walked through Upwork optimization processes. How do you leverage Upwork to get contractual roles, to get your side hustle? It can be in UK and you're doing a contractual 1-hour service for someone in US and getting your money and moving on. And people always feel that, oh, job site is just LinkedIn, Glassdoor, or Well-Found, or the popular ones that we know. But there are a lot of available job sites, remote.co, read.co.uk, and so much more. So we have the how to navigate the job market session, where we also bring in experts from different regions to walk people through how they can be able to break into the job market there. Then, of course, number 5, which I always consider the most important aspect, job and interview prep sessions. Okay, so when you land a job interview invite, we are available to have a simulated mock interview preparation for you. So what this means is that we are going to be using the job description of where you're going to and ask you questions to prepare you for that exact role that you're going for. Okay, and most likely what happens is that after the mock interview, things that you got to see in your proper interview are things that you were asked. Because these interviews, I mean, once you look at a job description, the question you'll be asked will be glaring in front of you. How do you use the STAR approach to answer situation-based questions? That's situation, task, actions that you're able to carry out, and then the result of that exact actions. And then how do you answer the question of tell me about yourself using the SEAT framework? Okay, the skills, the experience, your achievements, and then your type of person. So if you're able to have all these at your fingertips, you can instantly scale any interview that you are invited to. Then, because you are working on real-life projects, now some of the projects you are working on, they are actually real-life projects. But what we do is that we codify it, that maybe we are seeing it, okay, we got it from, let's say, a workforce group, and then we're going to codify it, and you're going to see XBC company, right? So that we can be in alliance with data protection laws, right? It means that when you're applying to other roles, we are available to provide recommendation and reference letters for you, okay? So they can be able to use it as an evidence of things I've done in the past. Then weekly mentorship session, like also mentioned, where we bring in experts to walk you through what they've seen on their own roles and how you can be able to navigate that exact challenges that they've faced in the past. And then number 8, which is on the job support. When you land a role, we are still available to provide support for you 1 month on that role till you find your fitting. So all these things is to bring you to level 3, which is our promise to you. That 1 month after you are done with your technical and employability aspects, you will definitely get 1 job interview invite. You will definitely get 1. But remember, applying to a job is a job on its own. Okay, which means you've learned this, you also need to be able to apply to these jobs. Okay, for you to be able to get in, you need to apply. Then we'll have other opportunities where we walk people through how to get remote jobs. So you can make sure that you fill the attendance form. So I may not be able to click it because our time is limited, right? But make sure you fill the attendance form so you can have access to this slide and you can go through it, click on all the links and watch everything that you want to watch, okay? Make sure you fill the attendance form that my colleague Lydia just dropped in the chat box so they can have access to the recording of this session and also to the slide that we're using for this call. Then you can also see top sites to get jobs, Well-Found, remote.school, and basically how you can navigate all those job applications. Then we have a tailored approach also. So what we do is, because we also scrape websites and give our students available jobs to apply to, we'll have a place we track the jobs that they have applied, okay? And what we're trying to do is that if we've seen that this exact individual have applied to maybe possibly, last month you applied to 20 jobs, right? And afterwards, we've not seen you come to us to say, oh, please prepare me for interview prep. It simply means that something is wrong. So these are learning management system. So let me try and log in to show us what I'm talking about. These are learning management system that we've seen that, oh, Chukwemeka applied to 20 jobs last year. This is the job tracker, yeah. So we scrape jobs, and then we'll make sure that our students apply to it. And then when we've seen that you've applied to these jobs, but you've not called us for any interview, we're simply going to say, oh, it means that something is wrong with what you are doing. And at that point, we'll have a one-on-one interaction with you. But if you've not applied to jobs, there's no how we know that something is wrong. Right? So we always indulge our students. We are going to scrape job boards. We are going to give you access to see the available jobs out there, but you need to apply. Right? And it's when you apply that we're not going to see, okay, from our data analytics, oh, Chukwemeka applied, he applied, but nothing was forthcoming. Then we are going to know something is wrong and have a peculiar interaction with you. So some of you might be thinking, oh, is it only the 5 people I showed initially that have gotten a job? No, that's not just it. So I always tell people to go to our YouTube page and search analytics. Just go to YouTube and search analytics. And you're going to see a lot of jobs, testimonials from people that have been able to walk this exact journey. Okay, you can see some of them that I have on my screen. Buki got as a data scientist with one of the largest retail firms in the world. Sheung got 2 offers as a data analytics specialist and with a data consulting firm, and also as a senior data reporting analyst with a government regulator in the UK. So we've had sessions in the past where some of these people had to come in and speak to people on how they were able to do it. So you also can be a part of this success story, but your journey starts from 5th October, right? So your journey starts from 5th of October because that is when our next cohort is starting, on the 5th of October. And how can you get into these classes? So we have a discount for the first 20 people currently running. And instead of you to pay $750, it means that you get to pay $600. Instead of you to pay £625, you get to pay £500. Instead of you to pay 730 euros, you get to pay 580 euros. And instead of paying 1,125 card, you pay 900 card. And of course, we know that the economy is dancing at the moment. Honestly, it's hitting everyone, which is why we have instrumental payment options. So you can leverage the first, can pay it once, can pay it twice, and you can also pay it 3 times. Okay, you can pay once, can pay twice, and you can pay 3 times. Okay, so it simply means that you can break down your payments so that you can be able to get into the tech ecosystem. And remember, this is just for people starting in October. This is for October cohort. So people always say, oh, but I want to start in November, or I want to start in December. Most times, the economic landscape of countries change even within 30 days, right? So the pricing is just for October cohort. So even if you want to start in November or you want to start in October, you have the opportunity to also lock down this exact discount. But instead of starting October, you choose that you want to start your classes in November. But it means that you've already made your purchase, you've made your lockdown in October already. So the price remains the same for you. But if you say, oh no, till November, I'm going to register, the price might change. I mean, a couple of people that joined our programs in one of these sessions in July, as at then, it should be lesser than this. They're coming back in September saying, oh, boy, in July, it was this. The truth is, economic landscape always shifts. So I always advise people to leverage this exact time, get registered, and continue their exact journey. So for you to register, simply click on the link that my colleague has dropped. So once you click on that exact link, it's going to bring you to this Analytics Enrollment Center. Analytics Enrollment Center. So the beauty of this site is that it picks your geolocation and gives you the price in that exact place that you are in. For instance, at the moment, I'm presently in Nigeria. So what it means is that I'm going to see my pricing in Naira. So what I simply have to do is, if you want to make payments, complete ones, you can pay using Pay with Mainstack. So once you click on Pay with Mainstack, it's going to bring you to the Mainstack store where you can comfortably choose the course you want to register for and go for it. For instance, I want to be a data scientist. So I can click on Full Stack Data Science. So what I have to do at this point is giving me the pricing in my local currency. can decide to click to pay, and then it's asking me my name. So I'll simply put my name. So once I put my name, put my email address, and then have to choose the country flag, Nigeria. Then let me put a random number here, and then simply click on pay for product. So that is simply it. So what you now have to do is to pay using this main stack pop-up here for you to check out your payments, right? You can pay using your card, you can copy the account number and go to a bank to make payments, okay? So you can pay using your account number, or you can pay using by copying the account number there and go to your bank to make payments. All right, so it's as simple as that. Put your details here and pay, or click on transfer, then copy the account number and then click to pay. But if you want to pay instrumentally, instead of clicking on pay with main stack, click on instrumental payments, monthly automatic installments. So it's going to give you the breakdown that you're going to make. So if you want to make payments once, can make the payments once. If you want to make it twice, can click to make twice. If you want to make it 3 times, can click to make it 3 times, and then proceed to pay. As easy as that. So what are you still waiting for? Remember, this discount is just for the first 20 people to register, right? It's not for everyone. It's just peculiarly for the first 20 people to register. And once that slot is filled up, it is entirely off. So I don't know if at this junction, whether anyone has a question or whether anyone has a clarity they want us to handle before we start rounding up for the night. So if you have any question, please use the raise hand icon and I'll call you up to speak, right? Or I can drop it in the chat box and I'll also pick it from there. But please, why send it to the chat box? Make sure you send to meeting group chat, right? Make sure you send to meeting group chat so that I can be able to see it, right? And then pick that exact question. You can use the raise hand icon and we are going to also call you up and take your question. While we're waiting for people to raise hand and also drop questions, these are people, other success stories of people that have been able to embark on this journey and got their own success story. So we have someone like Inia Babio. I also love Ini's story because when he came to us, Ini said, oh, I have 10 years of experience. I don't need all these technical things people are talking about. I just want to, brush myself and move on. But then our program is fully from basic to expert. We don't have, okay, you already have this knowledge, let's move you on. No, you are going to start from the beginning so that we'll be sure that we've given you the technical skills and employability skills. So Ini had to go through this process again. And when he went for a managerial role, Ini landed a CEO role. After the employing team have seen how he built his CV, how he was able to package himself, and some of the projects that he also worked on. So Ini moved from being a managerial job seeker to becoming the CEO of a company, right? And that's how he was able to transition. We have also Nathaniel, who also gets a job as a business data analyst. And then we'll have FF, also a business data analyst, and then Kehinde also as a data analyst as well. So this is Ini's success story. So please ensure that you have access to this slide so that you personally on your own can go through it and be able to, make sense of anything you want to. Is data science the same as full stack data science? Yeah, pardon me, 100%. How do I pronounce your name now? Elemoro. Yeah, Elemoro. Data science is the same thing as full stack data science. So that's just its fourth form, data science. Just the same way we have APM, Agile Project Manager, and then Scrum Master. It's the same thing in that bracket. So data science is the same thing as full stack data science, right? So you can see the success story of what Ini had to say. You can also go through it. You can see Toyin's story. You can see Olugbemi. Olugbemi also moved from an area of non-technical background into the tech ecosystem. Same thing with Wenga, who works as a business data analyst in Poland, as well as Kemi, that also works as a credit card fraud analyst, in UK. Then I've talked about Abigail, I've talked about Biola. So there are a lot of success stories of people that have been able to move from a non-technical background into a technical career path. But remember, the journey starts from deciding where you want to be. and also deciding to register for the program. Okay, so I don't know if there's any question from anyone before we round up for the night. So we have a lot of success stories here. Okay, let me see if I can play one so that we hear what one of them had to say before we round up for tonight. Let me play one success story before we round up.
And we're back in third quarter planning. Adams is quarterbacking this project.
Hi everyone, my name is Ikmat, and I was with the March cohort in Analytics, and joining Analytics has been the best decision so far. You know, for me, someone coming from a background of full housewife, because I had to stay back home to look after my child for 4 years, and then wanting to break into something new, wanting to go back into the workforce, you know, wanting to place myself in the society for better job opportunities. So it was a lot. And then I'm glad that Analytics came along, and then they presented me with so many opportunities right in front of me, better opportunities. And then I'm glad I took it. And then also the advice of do not sell yourself short, that Effie is always saying, it is very, very valid, because place yourself right, you know, don't sell yourself short. It's a very, very, very valid advice. You know, in Analytics, they will hold your hands like a child, you know, through the modules. You have the opportunity to go back and study. You have the opportunity to go back and practice. You have the opportunity to ask questions. You know, you have people you can always go back to, even outside of class hours. It's the most amazing experience so far, really. And then another thing is the interview prep, guys. That is another very important thing. I did my interview prep with Mr. Mohammed, and it is the best decision ever, because it was like he saw into the future. He knew what was going to be asked, and I'm glad that I wrote down all the things he mentioned. I went back to practice, and then when it was time for the interview, it was like everything he was mentioning, everything he mentioned, it was just they kept on. And then when I was answering those questions, I was so confident, you know, because I already practiced. I did an Excel test, I did a maths test, and then they were really impressed. And another thing is, guys, it may not come as fast as you expect. Definitely you are going to get some no's, and then you may begin to think you're not good enough. You are good enough, yes. The no's will come, but always take it as a basis for learning and development, because after every interview where I got a no, I always make sure I get a personal feedback. So I work on those feedbacks for my next interviews, and yes, it worked. It really worked for me, because I got my first job 3 months into the program, my first job. But I couldn't take up the job because I was a student, and I was only eligible to work 20 hours. So I couldn't take up the job. 3 months later, I got 2 jobs with full visa sponsorship. And guys, all the other no's before the 2 jobs prepared me for the yeses I got. So yes, the no's will come, but do not give up, because you always have Analytics to go back to. They are the best and the best thing that's ever happened to me. And then yes, and they are the most affordable one I've come across so far, and that's a very good advantage. So yes, Analytics for the win.
Are you a
All right, fantastic. So we just heard how Ikmat was moved from being a full-time housewife into landing 2 visa-sponsored jobs, that she now had to make the selection of the one that she wants. Okay, this story can also be yours, or your journey starts from making your decision of where you want to be. Okay, so remember, you can always chat us, you can always reach out to us if you have any challenges, and then we're going to walk you through anything that you need. So there are other success stories that we may not be able to go through, but when you get the slide on your own, you can personally go through them and see every single thing that people had to walk through to get to where they are at the moment. Okay, so thank you so much to everyone for being with us. So the people that have moved from classroom, to over 2,000 people that have moved from classroom, that's the people that we are proud of. And you also can be part of these people. These are amazing places some of our participants work. And then your story can also be like that. Remember, if you want to get into the tech ecosystem, yesterday is the best time. Today is the next best time. So thank you everyone once more. And I can't wait to see each and every one of you come 5th of October in one of the classes. Cheers, guys, and bye for now. Good night.